to settle in. And you allow your eyes to close, or you allow your gaze to soften, just whatever feels right. Just really welcome yourself into this moment. You've arrived physically, and so now allow yourself just mentally, emotionally, energetically, just allow yourself to arrive in those ways as well. Letting all the distractions of the day go. They'll try to come in, they'll try to get our attention. But let's just really give ourselves permission to be here and now for these few minutes. And I would invite us each just to kind of notice how things feel. Notice how it feels to sit, how it feels to lie down, whatever position that you've chosen. And just know that that position is the right one for you in these moments. And if the body tells you that it needs to adjust, then let it adjust. Because we know the thoughts will try to distract us enough. We don't need the body to do it. So just give yourself permission to be still. And then when there needs to be movement, give yourself permission for that as well. And so as we begin to notice the breath, really using it as our anchor to the present moment, I would invite us all to breathe just a few times together, collectively across this space. So together, a slow, deep breath in. And then let's just sigh it out. And a deep breath in. And sigh it out. One more like that together. Breathing in. And just exhale all the parts of this day that just need to be turned loose of. And then from here, you find a rhythm that feels good, that feels nurturing, but that also feels steady and secure. Breathing in and breathing out. And so as we have gathered for these few minutes, right above each of our homes, there is the most beautiful big harvest moon. The scientists call it the supermoon. These come every now and then, and the way that they describe it is that on those nights, the moon just seems bigger and brighter. And this beautiful idea of these countries and these customs where the harvest moon comes and we're still out at night harvesting our crops by the light of the moon. And so even where you are in your home, in the spot where you've settled with your eyes gently closed or cast down, just imagine it. Right above the roof of your home, this beautiful light in the night sky. You know, we look up at the sun sometimes and we have to look away. It's too much. But there's a softness to the light of the moon. And so I want to just kind of really set the tone for our time together as one of light. Just as these full moons come along every 28, 29 days, we are also beings of light. We have this incredible light, this incredible divine presence that is part of us. And just like that moon can appear bigger and brighter on today than it does on other days, we have the ability to shine just as brightly. And so just think to yourself for just these next few breaths, how does that feel? Just to imagine that a light as powerful as the one that lights up our night sky could be the same light within each of us. A light that people can see and feel when they're in our presence. A light that changes how we respond to the stressors of life. A light that changes our perspective when things are challenging and tough. The light is there within each and every one of us. But the really interesting thing about tonight's full moon is right about the time we finish our meditation practice together, we'll have a little bit of an eclipse where even though we know that this moon is a supermoon and it's bright and it's beautiful, there's going to be these few minutes right after our meditation practice where that light of the moon is covered up by the shadow of the earth. And while I marvel at the beauty of nature, I can't help but think what a lesson tonight's moon has for us. Because in all of our lives, about the time that we start to feel light, the heaviness begins to go. There's not any hard things that are happening in our life at that moment. We can really feel the joy inside of us. Inevitably, something comes that creates the shadow. A relationship fails. A job ends. A loved one leaves their body. The people closest to you disappoint you. And the list goes on and on. And so my question for us today is, does that change the brightness of our light? Because I know that logically, that full moon has not changed its structure. And when I look up in a little bit and I see the sky, I'm going to know, even though there's the shadow of the earth blocking part of it, I don't want to just know logically that the light is still there and the moon is still whole. I want to know it in my heart, in the fiber of my being. And then I want to use that knowing to realize the same thing is true about me. And it's true about you. You know, oftentimes people come to meditation because we need another tool to deal with the stress of life. We need a practice to help us let go of the distractions. We need structure to bring calm and ease and evenness to our being. And all of those are wonderful, wonderful impacts of this practice. But at the core, at the center of what this practice offers, is the understanding that we are light. And suffering is going to come. And life is going to get hard, and the shadow of the earth is going to get in the way. But we are light. And so I want to just pause for just the next few breaths and challenge each of us that as concretely as you can imagine that moon up above the roof of your house, can you visualize light within you? Can you see it? So just take a couple breaths here. Like you're trying to peer inside of your heart, deep inside of your spirit. Can you see the light? And then I would ask each of us to think, can you picture the things in your life right now that are the shadows, the struggles, the hardships, the grief, the heartbreak? Can you see those? And my guess is for most of us that those challenges, those difficulties, those sufferings, we're quick to see them. We feel them on our skin. We feel them in our energy. We feel the heaviness of them on our shoulders. We feel them across our forehead, into our jaw, and into our heart. But I would challenge us across these next few minutes as we sit together. Let's practice seeing the light within, at least as clearly as we see all the suffering, all the brokenness, all the challenges. And so I'm going to just take us just through a affirmation practice just to see if maybe practicing seeing the light, saying it to ourselves that it's there, maybe our concrete visualization of it will get just as strong as how we see the struggles. And for some of us, it's just going to be the practice of trying. And then maybe tomorrow we'll practice trying again, and the day after, and the day after. That's what this practice is. The root of this practice is taking us to the core of our being, the deepest part of our spirit, our soul, and helping us to realize the light's been there the whole time, but the shadow of the earth has distracted us. And so just continue to breathe slow, deep, nurturing breaths. And my words can hold space for all of us, or maybe you audibly say them to yourself, or you say them in your mind. Just whatever will help you to begin to see that light. Three simple words. I am light. 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 And now let's just sit, each of us in our own individual space, but collectively sitting together, pausing for these next couple of minutes and just see if we can cultivate our view of that light. And as you just continue to breathe, continue to be, I want to validate and recognize the journeys that we're all on. We don't just ignore the struggles and the problems and the trials. We see them, we own them, we understand that they exist. But somewhere along this practice, we begin to realize they're not us. And so as we get ready to close our time in just a bit, I want to just take us just through one more affirmation practice and see if, again, as that moon just sits above our rooftops and then that shadow is going to come in the next little bit, see if our perspective can begin to change. Just continue to breathe just a few more times together. I experience challenges. I am light. I go through suffering. I am light. I walk through dark moments. I am light. I hurt as heartbreak comes. I am light. I get caught up in the shadow, just like the moon. I am light. So as we prepare to close out our time together today, I would encourage each of us to just keep practicing that. I am light. I'm not the challenge. I'm not the difficulty. I'm not the shadow. They're part of the journey. But the I am part of it, the only word that belongs there is light. So as we close out our time, I'm so grateful for the lessons that nature teaches us, that reminds us of. It's not just a beautiful thing to look at and to marvel at. There's always a lesson there. And the lesson for today is, we are light. Namaste.